Now we're using a plethora of Ethos products today. First one we're going to use today is the Super APC. I'm going to dilute this 1:1 in a foaming spray bottle like this. I purchased this from Temu. Their spray bottles are pretty decent, and if I don't already have that video out, I will soon, or it'll be up in the card where I review a bunch of stuff that I got from Temu. So I mixed up 1 liter in here. They pump up extremely easy. Whoa, I had it locked on. Crap. Ah, no. Not on my camera stuff. It happens. Had my trigger lock on. Okay, now we're good to go. Now, usually for our pre-washing, I do like to rinse the vehicle down, but it is cool out today. We're not in direct sunlight, so I'm not worried about that. I'm going to apply this right onto the paint dry, and then we're going to rinse it off. This is called our APC rinse. If you have questions about it, then I will put some videos either down below in the description or up in the card. Now we have 2 different products for wheel and tire cleaning. This one is a dedicated wheel cleaner with the iron removal chemical. This one is a higher alkaline wheel and tire cleaner. So this can be used on both. But I am going to demonstrate both today. This on the tires, this on the wheels. Now I also got these really nice wheel woolly style brushes from Ethos. They sent 2 different sizes. I have a smaller size and then a little bit of a longer size. This is the smaller size. It works perfectly. And for delicate black gloss wheels, these are great. I'm not seeing any purple reaction at all, which means these wheels they're brand new and they're extremely clean. Now I usually like to hit any emblems like this with a water spot remover. So I'm using the lithium fire water, which is their water spot eliminator. I'm just going to spray it on and brush it in with a nice soft brush. So I'm not doing any crazy cleaning here. I'm basically trying to remove any water spot buildup that usually happens with these emblems. If you need more aggression, then use a different brush with just a little bit of a stiffer bristle that's still designed for paint, but you may need to get a little bit more aggressive if you have really hard water spots. Sometimes that's just what you have to do. So as far as the paint goes, what you're seeing is just a little bit of swipey marks from drying it. That will come right off. But we are dealing with some repainted sections. The two front fenders, not the hood, and then the passenger door. So these areas were repainted, and we do have some wet sanding marks here that we need to remove. This is probably from denibbing, which basically are little dust nibs that get in the clear coat and they have to be wet sanded and compounded out. You can see that they wet sanded, but they never finished it down. So this does need to be compounded and finished properly. Wow, that's really bad. And there was a little fisheye here that or a denibbing spot, and they went too much and it actually went down to the primer. As you can see, it's actually a little gray spot, and all I can do is just touch that up, but it's completely smooth. It's not a chip. They just sanded it down too much. But this is in for our 5-year ceramic coating and a paint enhancement. All of our ceramic coatings include a paint enhancement. So we're gonna try to just get that haze out to make it look nice and glossy. And a little bit of the swirls, they'll come out as well. A yellow pad or microfiber? Try the yellow pad first, I guess. And the NSP 150. So like with all of our ceramic coating services, we are using the NSP primer polishes. These polish and these remove defects, and they prime the surface so you don't have to use a panel wipe. This, I'm sure, is soft paint, so I don't want to have to panel wipe it and mess anything up. That's why we're using these. These are our dedicated ceramic coating primers for our ceramic coating services. We're gonna bump it up to a yellow pad, which isn't super aggressive, but we'll see how that works with the NSP 150. This is basically their compound, and it still has the priming properties within it. And it finishes down really well, so we'll see how that works. Now, why don't we do paint corrections every single time with ceramic coatings? Let me get one thing straight here. We are a detailing business. We're working for our customers, not for YouTube, not for social media. So what we're doing is real, not fake, not made up just for the views. I record these and document these to help other detailers and to show the quality of work that we do. Now, that being said, if the customer wants us to do a paint correction and is paying for it, that's when we do it. Is a paint correction needed every single time you apply ceramic coating? Of course not. Do the research. Polishing paint and removing swirls is for aesthetics. It's so that the paint looks awesome. True, I agree, I'd rather do paint corrections and ceramic coatings. That way the paint looks its best. But that is not realistic every time with every customer. It depends on their budget. Why would I do a paint correction every single time for the same price that I'm doing my paint enhancement? That would be silly. It would be unwise. That's why you don't see us doing it so often. So if you see businesses always doing paint corrections, cool. That usually means they're being paid to do that and they're only documenting those paint correction jobs. Or maybe it's their demographic and they have tons of customers who always want paint correction and they'll pay for it. That's cool. That depends on your area and your demographic. My area, there's not a ton of people who want paint correction. In fact, I only do a handful of those a year, and most of them don't even want ceramic coatings, they just want the paint correction side. So there's going to be a variety of customers that want different things. That's what I'm bringing to the table here on our YouTube channel, is the reality of detailing and the reality of a detailing business. Not just the glamorous side of it where I'm only showing the good parts. I'm showing everything. So with that said, let's start polishing this and we'll show you some of the before and afters as we go through the vehicle. All you need for this polish, I start with 2 pea-sized drops just to get it primed a little bit. And then for each section, 1 pea-sized drop. That's it. So this is before, and this is after. Now, you see, oh no, that's not swirls, that's residue. That's just from the NSP polishes, and that's just a little bit of lint from the towel. This paint is a little grabby, and sometimes you're just going to experience weird things with the paint. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, I don't want to see that smeary residue. I want to make sure the paint is looking perfect. Look, I've been using this for a couple of years now, and it is part of the nature of these NSP polishes and also due to your humidity and heat in the area. More humidity, it kind of surfaces a little bit more. In cooler temps, you don't really see it as much. With that being said, it is not a huge deal. You can see through that. You can see what's residue and what's the paint. But if you don't like it, I understand. You can use a little bit of water, like a mist of water or a damp towel with just water, and go over the area just to get rid of that residue. So I'm just gonna mist this area with water, just the towel, and let's just see if we can get rid of the residue just so you can see the paint itself. Will this mess up the primer abilities? No, it won't. It's already bonded to the paint, it's done its job, so you really don't have to worry about that. There we go, much better. You're just seeing still a little bit of lint from the towel. Sometimes the towels just do that, but I'm looking past that, and the paint looks great. Teeny little defects here and there. Again, not a huge deal. We are doing a paint enhancement and improving the quality of the paint and making it look not like this. Yeah, that's great. All right, let's move on. So polishing was going great until I ran into a snag up here. As I'm polishing, I noticed these weird little rust spots right there. And I thought there were big chips in the paint that were rusting. Come to find out, they're not. It was something that had dripped from up above. Nothing here, of course. This is not rusting at all. So it's not from my garage, obviously. Now this could have come from transport. It could have been on one of those gigantic trucks, and when that's being transported, you may have little drips of junk from a vehicle above, or who knows from what. It could have been in the shop and there could have been a leaking pipe that was dripping right on it. Either way, I noticed these little rust spots. Good thing is they sand right out. So I'm taking some 2500 grit sandpaper. So it left a little circle there, but there's no rust, there's no chip, there's nothing else. This will compound right out. So crisis averted. I thought it was chips. It's not. It's just rust drips that look really bad. This is the last thing to do is the roof, and then we're gonna probably break for lunch and come back and coat everything. Okay, so we'll leave it like that. Ceramic coating will just fill all of it in. It's good, I like it. Not. So I chose a little bit of classic cut, a Eurofiber 50/50 pad on the little flex. Good as new. No weird rusty spots. There's still some dust nibs, however, that I see spotted throughout the vehicle, even for a brand new vehicle. I know. That's what happens sometimes with new vehicles. Poor paint jobs. That is done and dusted. We're going to prime the rest of the roof and move on. Polishing is now done. Now, before we move on to coating, there's a few things that I like to do first, and coating of the paint is absolute last. Well, pretty much absolute last. We're going to polish and coat the windshield. Wifey already went around and hit all of the wheels and tires, prepping the wheels. She already dressed the tires, but she's going to go around and coat the wheels and also the trim. Any of this plastic textured trim, which there's not a ton of, which is good. Like we showed before, we're going to be using the Ethos Graphene version 2.0 matrix coating. This is a 5+ year coating, and I'm not a huge fan of graphene. I don't really care either way. So we're going to use this as the coating, and we also have a glass coating, an easy glass coating from Ethos. So we're going to apply this onto the windshield. We also have some of their maintenance products. So we have their ceramic refresh, which you can use as a standalone sealant or as a topper for ceramic coatings as a maintenance. You can use this as a maintenance also, their Defy. This is kind of like a all-in-one waterless detailing wash type of product, but it can also be used as a maintenance product for coatings and waxes and sealants. We also have their Detox, which is their panel wipe, but we really don't need to use that today. We can use it later on or use it on plastic and wheels. Actually, maybe that's what I'll do, is use it for the wheels. So this stuff you can also stretch out pretty far. I'm going to do this entire door, and if I do need to add a little bit more, 3/4 of the way through, I can do that. It's not a big deal. I'm going to put a line right down the middle, box out the top half of the door. Let's do that first. So I'm going to box out the top half, and then go ahead and easily manage to spread the coating quite smoothly across the surface. It's a nice smooth application, not tacky, not weird at all. And I can already see it rainbowing, which means it's pretty warm right now today, and the lights in here also make things pretty warm. So I am going to give this plenty of time to bond. Really, by the time I'm finished applying it to the bottom half here, it's probably going to be pretty much ready to go on the top half. And I'm going to cross hatch only in some sections that I really have a hard time seeing. And I'm going to put lights on here in a minute anyway, but I don't have lighting down here like I want to. At least not spotlight. I do have that light, and actually that does help a lot. Just make sure to get under the handle, and I'm going to cross the top here too, because I can see a few little areas that I missed. I'm just going to make sure to go back and get them. Totally fine to do that. That's how you should be doing it. So I did the entire door, and already, again, I can see it starting to rainbow. So right there, it's very, very easy to see, especially against a white background. Against a black background, not so much. But a white background, yeah, very, very easy to spot. So that is what we mean by rainbowing. And this coating definitely does it right away. So it flashes pretty quick, so it's ready to wipe off. As per usual for me and my standard operating procedure, I have 2 towels ready to go. Now I go in small circular motions at first to kind of scoop up all of the coating. Now the old way of thinking was doing this motion is what caused swirls. Oh, we've come a long way and learned what really causes swirls. It's not this motion at all. In fact, swirls are not truly circular in nature anyway. They only look circular because when a light is shined on it, the light, of course, is a small little pinpoint or a small focused beam of light, and you're seeing what looks like circles. But actually what you're seeing is straight lines all in one direction. And then when you pinpoint a light, it's refracting off every single one of those little scratches. So you get an effect that looks like little circles. Now, true, there may be some scratching and swirling that are truly circles, but for the most part, that's not what it is on most cars. So it's not from the circular motion at all. In no way, shape, or form, that does not make sense, because we're using soft towels. Because if it was the motion itself, then it wouldn't matter if we were going in circles or straight lines. If I was to go cross-hatching with a towel, then you would see square boxes everywhere. But we don't see square boxes on paint. We see circular. It's because of the light source. That's why. Now I picked up this little guy, this tiny, tiny little light. It's magnetic, it has a clip, and it was kind of one of those like TikTok-y, social media gimmicky things. It's not a gimmick. It's super, super bright, and it's cheap. So I picked it up because I love lights, and I use this as my light source to make sure all the coating is good to go. All the way to the bottom, making sure to wipe everything all around the perimeter, all around the edges. Easy peasy. That is super easy to apply and remove. Love it. Now, if you're curious as to how you maintain a ceramic-coated vehicle, then you want to go check out this video. In this video, we show you how we maintain ceramic-coated vehicles.